Hey guys, we're thrilled to announce that we are finally ready to release the beta. So this is going to be a bit of a walkthrough and tutorial so you can get started on your builds. Now if you haven't received your codes, make sure to message us on Facebook, private message, so I can reply with the codes. And then when you log in, you'll be on this page. And to get to the app, just click on Start Building Now. So once you're in, you can use the left mouse button to rotate the camera and the right mouse button to pan the view, and of course scroll to zoom. Alright, now let's get into some of the basic functionality. So to add a component, you're going to click on this and then choose whatever you want to add. So let's start with a foundation. Let's say a gravel pad. Just click add component and it's going to show up in the scene. To close this, press escape. There you go. You select this and you can see in the properties you've got a length. This is in inches, so let me quickly change it to metric. Apply. Now it warns you to save the scene before you do this. So to save the scene, you go into Manager and then give it a name and save. Once it's saved, you are safe to go ahead and apply the change if you want to switch to metric or imperial. Okay. And now to load a project, you go back into the project manager and click load. So we're back. Now let's say I want to change the size of this. You can go into the properties and here say, okay, I want a 5000 millimeter length, so 5 meters, and maybe a bit thicker, let's say 200, so 20 centimeters. Maybe I want a different type of gravel, so here you can choose a different material, update, and it updates. Let's go ahead and add a foundation. You can set the size of the element before adding, so let's go ahead and put this at 5000 millimeters right away. Then you simply click on the element to select it, and you can now move it around using these arrows. You can see it turns green. This is the snapping functionality. I move it out of the way, and when it gets close to another one, there's a preview, and now when I let go, it gets into that position. So let me put this one below the concrete. How about we add some plates? So I'll go into plates and choose this one. Let's say I want a 2x8 and I want it to be treated. Let's go ahead and move it to its position. So I'll drag it along this axis, and when it gets close to it, I will release, and here you go. And on this side as well. Let's say I want to change the length of it. Of course, I can say that this is 6 meters, and I'll go ahead and set the 6 meters in here. And then move it into position. And we'll see a different way of doing it in a second. Let's say I want to make a copy. The simplest way to do it is to press Ctrl, click on one of the arrows, release Ctrl, and now drag, and I release it now. Let's say I want to rotate it. One way to do it is up here. Let's say I want to rotate it by 45 degrees. I'll set 45 in here and rotate it along the green axis. The Y is the vertical. So let's rotate it vertically. 1, 2. Now I'll move it into position like this. A different way to resize it is to right click on this button and choose resize. Now when I click it, there's this that appears, and I grab it to change its length. Right now I'm pressing shift, so I have fine control over what length I want. But if I release shift and hover a corner like this, it's going to snap to the corner. And now I release, and it's the exact length. The grid isn't helping me right now, so I'll go into the scene controls and turn it off. Now let's make another copy of this one right here. So press Ctrl, click, release Ctrl, drag. And now I'll put it in the position I want. What I'd like here is to have this one butting up against this one. So I'll go back into the resize tool. I'll grab this end and drag it over here. As you can see, the nuance in using this tool is that if I wanted to go to this corner, I need to be hovering this element close to this corner. So if I hover this element but closer to this corner, it's going to go here. If I don't hover this element at all, it's going to go to a different element. Now let's make a copy of this one. A different way to make a copy is to use array. Here I'll make one copy. I'll select the first element, and now I can just drag it. And when you're done, click apply. Why don't we add a wall? Just press add component and it appears. I didn't set it to 2x8 before adding it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it inside of the properties panel. So here, 2x8 and update. Now I want to put it over here. When you press it, you can see there's these little red dots. If I press this plate, which is on the bottom, and then I select this bottom corner, I can now drag it like this. And when I put it over a corner, it's gonna snap to it. So let's say I want to put it here, like this. Perfect. I'll just resize it on this end, and let's make a copy. Apply. Now let's make the copy again. Control, click, release control. Now I'll rotate it by 90 degrees in a different way. Right click here, click rotate, and now just rotate. Press spacebar to go back to this mode and drag it back here. Let's add another one again. Now let's say I want to make a connection between these two walls. I'm going to click on this one, right click, edit group, and now I can make a copy of this and move it over here. Press escape and here you go. Now I've edited this wall, but as you can see in the properties, it's still a wall. So if I change its size or update it in any way, this little edit that I've made is gonna go away. If you wanna preserve it forever, you can click ungroup here, and that's gonna disassemble the wall into its constituent parts. So now I've just got plates and studs. Alright, let's rotate this one by 90 degrees. And move it into this position. And this way I've just made a wall connection. If you click on one of the corners, you can also rotate it from here. You can use the rotate tool or the interface on the upper right corner. Now let's add a door. I'll go into openings, door. We'll go into these sections later, but I'll explain them quickly here as well. The door width is the distance between these studs. That's the width of the rough opening. As you can see, 900. The door height is the rough opening of the door in the vertical direction. This automatically fills in the headers to the absolute max, but you can then edit it and remove some if you don't like them. I'm gonna click on the wall, but select this stud right here. Click this corner, and then just hover on the middle, move it around to snap to this plank right here. So I'll go into the resize tool and change the height. I won't get it on this corner, I'll get it on this corner. Here we go. Now as you can see, it's in the middle of this panel. Now what I think I'll do is just change the plate length to 5000, or let's say 4000. So that now this separation is over here, so it doesn't bother me as much. Now to get rid of this stud right here, I'm gonna go into edit group and just move it. Press escape, here we go. Okay, well now I want this door and this wall to be one. So I will click on the wall or click on the door, hold shift and select the wall. And now I will go on the group button. And now they're one. As you can see in the hierarchy, there's a group that has a wall and a door. To rename an item in the hierarchy, you double click it, then input the name and press enter. Now to reverse this, just select it, go in here, ungroup. You can of course add more elements into a group. Let me undo that. Now I'll go ahead and add the top plates. Go into components. Now I don't need this one to be treated against moisture, so I'll change the material and go back to the normal one. Now as you can see when navigating around, I suggest you go into the vertical view, zoom out a bit and pan over to where you want to be, and then you can look around that place. If you want to look at a place that's lower, you go into the side view, go down, and look around the place that's a bit lower. So now that I've got my top plates, I'm thinking about adding a roof. Now, rafter B over here has the advantage of having a pre-made notch. Now, again, what I can do is grab this corner here, drag it over here to get it right where I need it. Now, this seems a little bit steep, and I also want two of these rafters to correctly butt up one against the other on top. So what I'm gonna do is grab one of these rafters, let's say this, and move it up. Now what I'm gonna do is select this rafter element and say the run here has to be 1791. And let's not make the angle that steep. I can go here, grab this thing, put it on this corner. Let's make a copy of this. Rotate it 90 degrees and give it a run of 3162. I'll also have to fiddle with the angles so that it lines up in the end. Alright, I suppose this will have to do for now. Let's move this one up here, and here we go. And this is just filling in the rest of the roof with the array function, which works on groups as well. Alright, I think that's going to be it for today. If you want to have access to the app, the best way to do that is to get in touch with us on Facebook, direct message so I can reply, and reach out if you have any questions, suggestions. We'll try to get more content out to you, so with more examples, and of course make the app better to use, so feel free to reach out and share with your friends.